today is the second episode of Capital Talks, the friendly conversation we want to have with distinguished guests that touch Albania in different ways. And today we have Majlind Lazimi from Horwarth, Albania, and Elvis Kotherja from Elite Travel Group.
Yeah.
So we are very honored to have you here because you and us each one in its own sector, touch real estate, hospitality, and also the tourism sector, which has been very much highlighted in the recent years because of the number of tourists traveling to Albania, because of the number of the quality also of the services and tourism and that we are offering right now. While Majlind does something totally differently that he will explain himself.
Yeah.
So please, an introduction for everybody.
He's helping us.
We are all helping each other for sure.
Helping each other. So I'm very pleased. By the way, thanks for the invitation. I was all in when you told me that we have going to do this kind of very interesting talks. So Horwarth, it's as you are guys, an American-based company with more than 55 offices around the world. We're, let's say, perhaps probably the largest hospitality tourism advisor in the world, with offices mostly in US, but even in Europe. We are in partnership with Zagreb office in Croatia, and we've been here since 2001. And so we're trying to support from government when it comes to strategy of development of tourism up to any private sector investors from A to Z, bringing brands, supporting them on business plan, master planning, all that. So I'm very happy that we're going to have a very interesting conversation today.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, it's very good that because Elite Travel Group is a company built. I mean, we started like 25 years ago, 26 years in 1999, 2000, around that part. So we started very small, but we grew up as as a business. And yes, now we are much more organized, and of course we have all businesses inside. So we have also recently opened Elite Hospitality, which is a asset management company for hotels and accommodation. Let's say. So it's growing very well, and we have diversified not only in Albania but also in North Italy, in Veneto region. We have 2 properties and 3 properties in Albania, but it's going very good, and we see that Albania is very small in its own, but we need to combine also diversify businesses cross border because it's magic. Even
of course.
Europe looks big, but it's very small in many aspects.
Very mature market.
Yeah, and also I'm very happy to confirm that together with Majlind, we are at the same board on the American Chamber of Commerce tourism board. There is a committee for tourism and hospitality. I'm the chairman of the board, and we have worked hand on hand for the first Albanian tourism strategy, which is already consulted before it started, and then the government
approved last
year, and now we are fighting together to put it in place. And we are sure that it will happen. Yeah. But for the first time, we have a plan for tourism. So that's very good.
We better have it because the way how it's going.
Because up to now, a professional plan where we, as all stakeholders, have been part of it. I've been asked many times, and I was very happy to support. But my colleagues also, we have gone also further. Some of my partners abroad, they have been involved in this organization, and that I want to thank Horwarth for, and also Majlind for taking it so seriously and making a great plan. And when I see it, I see what we need. So our actions are to make it happen. In the next 5 years. But at least, I mean, when you have a plan, it's very important that we change the mindset, because the business and the government are aligned. And then we need will, but also support by the government, because even the government is part of that. A good thing in that, I mean, I just want to give you some briefings.
Yeah, that's important for everybody.
Because we want to develop things, and the business wants to know, okay, if there is a plan, show me the plan so I can see what's going on and how it will be developed. And what I see, the most important is that part of the plan is infrastructure that we mentioned earlier, which is in a nutshell, I think 80% it's already there and it's built. So in that aspect, I'm very happy that we are ahead with infrastructure. But now, with the same aim and also with the same goodwill, we need to do the rest, which is very important for all of us. And that is the most, let's say, not difficult, but the most um, uh, engaging momentum, because we need to talk about people. Tourism is all about
Of
people.
course, service. What we were.
And I can tell you easily that I never forget that I have a German friend, and he told me that I have 30 years. I go to the same place in Italy for 1 week, and I said,
What's the
"How
reason?
comes?"
Yeah.
Yes, I said, "Yeah, because I know the family. It's a nice family. Now they are third generation, so we know them. So we do other weeks of vacations, but that's the vacation that it's part of our life.
It's the experience.
That's experience.
Exactly.
The people that
The people
serving there.
experience of
And
the
he
lifestyle.
mentioned the grandfather, the son,
course.
and the nephews now, which are running.
Exactly.
This is the kind of tourism we want to build here.
Yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
Legacy.
I mean, Albania is on a fulcrum, so Albania has just turned the corner for that.
Yes, so we don't need tourism. We need repeaters.
Yeah, we don't need numbers that come for the first
Yes.
time. Maybe
And that's the
another.
value of the destination.
Mhm.
And that's the value also. I'm sure that people that have capacity, I mean, or the guests that are capable to pay even 5,000 euros a night,
Right.
but they have to pay for the service. They don't pay for the walls. I don't think they pay for the
No,
service.
they don't.
But they pay for the service they get that they will never forget.
That's correct. The
So-
experience.
The experience.
Exactly.
Now, when it comes to experience, to build that experience, first we have to work with the mindset. We have to change the mindset. And we have to believe that if we want to do that in that way, we have to work all together.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
it's going to be a long way.
Exactly.
And it's gonna be hand on hand to build it. And that's the initial start of a destination where everyone can come, and he wants to come. He doesn't care how much he will pay, but he will pay as much as you
For an
ask, because
experience
he will pay the experience.
and the feeling.
And you can ask whatever, he will pay, because he will pay the experience, and then say, okay, no problem. So the idea is that when they go to South Italy, to Puglia, they don't pay Puglia, they pay the experience they get there. So then this is the way the destination has been built. So that's
That's a good one.
that's
sure.
this is my how we understand. But again, I'm very happy that we have worked together with Majlind, we have pushed.
I wanted to ask about
Yeah.
this plan actually, because you
Majlind
said we
can
know
give a little
now
more,
what's going on,
So
what is
we
going
are-
to happen.
Exactly.
So what is going to happen? What should we
Look, the thing
expect?
is, the strategy somehow has been quite, I would say, concrete steps with concrete action plan. And I think what is the main buzzword will be how we can translate or basically go from volumes to value. Because we are not worried about numbers. And numbers, as you see, after COVID in Albania, tourism has been booming. The only challenge of being concerned, in a sense, not just from policymakers, but even from the private sector, will be how to manage the supply side.
Of
Are we
course.
ready with hospitality units, accommodation units? Are we ready with infrastructure? Are we ready with the soft infrastructure, which is human capacity, staff, etc.? So consider Albania doesn't have a legacy when it comes to hotel management, hospitality management. Obviously, this is a big challenge, and government will do its play, but obviously it has to be concerted effort between the government, what they can do on national level and local level, and then what the private sector actually needs as a signal. What is the way forward? So I think in terms of the plan, it's quite concrete. We have come up with 42 initiatives when it comes to investment, in terms of regulations, in terms of fiscal reform, in terms of how to support the concept of mixed-use resorts, which is very successfully operating in Montenegro, for example, on high-end tourism, and I think it's part of your daily
Yes.
basis when it comes to Forbes Global. So I think Albania, in the end of the day, as I agree with Elvis, so basically it has to be affordable. It has to provide a unique experience that they cannot find
Yes.
elsewhere in the neighboring countries like Italy, Montenegro, Greece. But at the same time, we need to keep having repetitive customers and clients, and that's not an easy job. So we are in a starting position, but the thing is, if we try to educate the market, I think here as Horwarth, we're doing a lot with private sector. We're trying to talk with them, understanding what are their needs. I mean, we do understand the perspective, financial perspective of investors might be short term, but does it coincide with the long-term vision of having sustainable tourism? So that's always a natural friction, we call it. So between the government looking at a bit of long-term perspective of sustainable tourism, and then from the private investors, which needs to get the money back in the next 2-3 years, which in hospitality projects is impossible. I mean, real estate, yes, sometimes. But so the key issue is having a plan which is easily measurable and doable, but of course now we are just in the first phase of implementation. We're working very closely with the Ministry of Tourism and Culture and Sports, but at the same time we are trying to educate, as I said, most of the investors in the region, because that's, I think, a starting point. And then of course we need to tackle challenges of human resources, challenges of infrastructure, investments when it comes to water, wastewater, connectivity. It's a blessing in the first years, as it happened with the Tirana International Airport, but heavily reliance on low cost might not be that easy, especially with today's global perspective, global situation, where you might have issues of supply chain in terms of oil and gas. So
Energy.
it's very interlinked as a sector. It's very vulnerable to external shocks. The idea is to create enough resilience from domestic market and to educate the operators in order to receive more and more tourists, staying longer in hotels and spending more idly. So this is the easy to be said rather to be done. But I mean, it's good to have a good plan as a first step.
Well, Albania has this characteristic, I would say, that every foreigner that comes to Albania kind of falls in love with it. Maybe for the warmth of the people, the weather, the country is small, everybody knows everybody, and then from these people that come probably from big countries, this is the human touch, is a very good feeling. But on the other side, we see you as operators, but also us in real estate, we see that the tendency is to go towards big names in hospitality and kind of lose that human touch with the family operated business that not necessarily is less luxurious than the big brands, on my opinion.
Exactly.
So what do you think? Is this perception of mine right, or you see something different?
Look, you are right. So we need to be in between. It's a very fine balance between unique experience and having standard kind of quality of service, because the brands will bring basically know-how, standards,
course.
expectations are already anchored. So I know when I go to Marriott, to Hilton, to XYZ brand, what I'm witnessing. But then you might have a very interesting, surprising boutique hotel somewhere in Dermi or Palace, and then you might say, well, it's family run, but it offers you something which is not standardized everywhere of where you see the big brands. So I think both of them can be married, they can be coexisting. You don't have to choose one or the other. The only thing that has to be concerned, and we did in the action plan and the strategy, that we kind of, for the first time, we put in the strategy clustering. Clustering is a very industrial term, but even in tourism now, we thought Albania should be clustered in region. So in 6 clusters, and we thought that Adriatic Sea has actually a different kind of tourism product.
Of course.
Considering
Even
with
for us
UNC.
in real estate.
Real estate.
Yeah.
So you can't just mix clientele. You can't mix potential investors and say, well, it's one sea. No, it's a different sea, but it's not just sea. It's about how you see from sandy, from family oriented or not. So lifestyle is a different in the southern part, landscape, everything. So I think we're trying to map out the attractions, assets of Albania with the reality that we found. And then basically that gives you what we call the strategic marketing plan, which obviously Albanian government should do with the national tourism boards and all the rest, with private sector, in order to position in different levels. So you should have at the same time high-end tourism, but you cannot kind of ignore massive tourism in the sandy beaches in the Adriatic Sea, which is a very logical step forward.
So your idea is to differentiate by region, mostly.
Differentiate by region and
that's
creating level playing field for everybody to operate. and you need to have a menu. So if I'm a budget kind of tourist, I still can be enjoying Albanian uniqueness in food and all that, but I cannot.
In a more
why, yeah,
affordable
in a more affordable way.
area.
Why should I be always going to lifestyle? I don't know, Dermi Palace or Yal, for example. But if I'm a little bit of leisure tourist, I want to experience like Mykonos kind of style, then I have to be aware that I have to pay more, but I need to go to a different location, not in the same place where people with family and kids are staying. So it's always about balancing, mapping out, and providing the marketing plan, which actually everybody has his own experience and is ready willingness to pay for that what he's experiencing.
How do you see it?
I will.
I might be a bit theoretical,
Yeah.
but
No,
in
but
real terms,
that's correct.
it happens.
So
Here's the practical eye.
yeah, that's the.
No, but I do go as well in very boutique hotels. And to be frank, I mean, I shouldn't say that because I work with brands, but obviously I do have the same feeling. Like sometimes I need to be in a very intimate place with 20 keys, perhaps in somewhere, very distant from maybe to other people
Some of
staying.
those hidden.
Yeah, and then you think
places.
that you are completely changing your life. Whereas if you go to a branded upscale of luxury, you always are prepared that somebody will suffer, will supply you. I mean, doing your whatever XYZ services. So surprises is not there. That's the case. Sorry.
Yeah, that's very. This is correct, but it's it has to go hand in hand.
Yeah,
I mean, we need this international expertise and also the corporate mindset. We don't have that. I mean, this family running is very good. It's excellent, but we need some elements.
So you mean there's
to
no
keep-
consistency.
Yeah,
in
that's
so one
no-
day you are enjoying your
Yeah.
cocktail,
yes.
that boutique restaurant,
That's-
whatever, or whatever.
Next
lounge.
day,
Next day, the sun is not there, and somehow the neighbor has
Yeah.
taken his position and said, "Well, I don't know what kind of cocktail you're asking." So, and that you don't find in brands.
They are not
branded
ready
hotels.
for.
yeah,
It's not consistency. It's not there.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's why.
I
but
agree,
that's
I agree.
corporate mindset.
I agree that.
That we have to learn that if you do a great job, you have to do it in a sustainable way. Yeah? We go now back to. I just want to connect this with the sustainability because we talk about sustainability,
A lot, yeah.
but unfortunately, in Albania, most of the public, I would say, but also politics, they use it only for the environmental aspect, which is perfect. I mean, I'm not against that.
It's one of the components.
But that's one of the
not
three,
everything. Yeah,
three
exactly.
components without adding that's the most important being humble and being also let's say responsible.
Yeah.
So social aspect. So if we in Albania will see it from the social aspect perspective, we can really, and also the strategy. That is what the strategy is also covering.
Yeah.
So the strategy is saying that, I mean, as far as I have understood, is that they want to build a tourism that lasts 365 days a year. That means all year round. Because we need to have the same way to convey the same way of treatment for. So we need to treat the guests similar as the employees, as the suppliers, as the partners. So we have to have. So no matter if it's a client or an employee, we have to have the same way of treating each and everyone
People business, people
with
relationship
respect.
business.
Without respect, we cannot do anything. Yeah? So that's fundamental for the real tourism. So I don't think that there is makes sense if you get served by a person by a employee which is mistreated on the backstage. Huh?
Of course.
Or,
We see that in the
or you
smiles.
are served in a hotel where he has not paid the bills of the energy, he has not paid the bills of the suppliers and stuff like that. So these are fundamentals, and if we want to build a sustainable environment, we need to talk about social. That's why I said even in the beginning, we need to train people. Not people, the public. I mean, all the students or those that are already in the position. We need to train them and tell them that.
Sorry for that comes to local community as well, because what happens is we don't have to find. I mean, typically it's like you have shifts of flow of people coming from Tirana serving yourself and vice versa, which might be good at a certain time, but then you don't create enough touch with the
it's
local community.
temporary, everything.
So it's temporary. You don't have sustainability in terms of creating local staff that could serve to you in long perspective, and creates instability when it comes to business class, because you never know whether the same
cannot rely
guy was
on
a
that.
waiter this season might not be the next season. So that doesn't make sense.
That is why when we have to make sure that who works in this industry. We need to tell them, listen, today you are a waiter, but if you have the goodwill, or if you want to be trained, and you have the curiosity, and you need to, let's say,
To have a
to
career.
have a career in,
For
path
real.
in the end.
in this,
Yes,
Yeah.
sustainable.
you just need to be curious and to have the goodwill to learn. That's all. And then the business could shape it for that kind of life, that kind of cycle.
But that
It
comes
sounds
that,
difficult.
that comes with seasonality issue, how to
Yeah.
stretch the
Yeah.
season, and
But
then there are a lot of things.
The problem we have
interrelated.
here, was, as far as I understand, that we get things for granted. We don't want to build. If we want to hire, we don't create, or we don't invest on hiring, on training, and then hiring, but we get from the neighbor.
Quick fix.
And then, or we get over the neighbor, we get bored with
The
them,
cousin or the
call
son.
a company, an international company, and say, okay, we need 10 employees from Filipinos or whatever. But that's, and then again, we end up that even those that does not work, because at the end of the day, the way they do the business, they don't do, you can get the best employees, but without a structure, without process and structure, we cannot make the business there.
Absolutely.
So it's a society thing. I would say it's more than what we think. We need also to work, and government is its own, the business has its own
Mindset change.
Yeah. We need all to work and to make sure that we have the processes, and we have also the structures built, and we need to use technology and also learn, lifelong learning. It's not anymore any that's the way it is.
It's not an option.
It's not. It's you cannot work, because the clients are every day changing
Expectations,
behaviors.
behaviors,
You need to catch with that. But a good thing in Albania is that we are at the beginning, and we can build it up
And we can learn from others'
we can
mistakes.
shape it. Yeah, we can shape it in the right way. I can.
Listen,
tell
based
you
on your
this.
experience, I want to be like
Try
proud
to
for a
provoke
minute.
us a bit.
Yeah. No, I'm also proud for a minute. What do we have more than Croatia, or more than Greece, or more than Montenegro? Do we have
Less or more, you mean? What is the question? Or both? Because sometimes it's a question.
Let's
a lot
say
of people say
more,
less
because
or
I want to be optimistic.
okay.
But
For my
even based on the perception of the comments or feedback of your clients.
we are not developed yet.
Okay.
So that's my first thing. So we need to train and to start and to become like Croatia. So that's a good thing. So even for the investors, so we are at the beginning. We have a plan, and of course we are going to be much better in the next 10 years. But for now, we are at the beginning of a let's say of a new. Even though we are already in the map of tourism, still we have a lot to do, and there is a future.
But we shouldn't forget that it's a market like any other market. It's about demand and supply, price and quality. So coming to your question, Croatia obviously is a mature market. You know what you expect. The quality is of course higher than Albania for many reasons, from the legacy, but the pricing there is getting higher and higher, which means we might try to be a little bit more profiting from the fact that some people would still consider in the next seasons or so that perhaps paying 1,000 euros per night might not be valuable or whatever, affordable for. But in Albania, you can have a very extraordinary experience, whereas in Croatia,
With
might be
less
still
money.
okay.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's the
we-
good point of it.
We have a lot more because we have this environment. The Albania has a climate of microclimate.
Of course, in a small territory, you have mountains, lakes, everything.
That's an advantage, and this microclimate has affected also local culture, people, how they behave, food, the quality of wine, quality of air, the sunset, everything. So this is a value that we have to work, and you have to make sure that this works well in comparison to the other countries. But again, I just keep standing
just
on
at the
this.
beginning.
Yeah, at the beginning. But we are at the beginning. We are like Croatia 20 years back. So I can tell you
we have as well intangible
but
culture.
we need to build it up. Yeah.
Which we are underestimating in a sense because they are completely detached. So if you are a tourist, curious about knowing about history of a country like in Albania, you really have a lot of things to do. You can know about communism, you know about ancient times. You go to a castle, and then you can do it in 1 or 2 days, which is going to be almost impossible in other countries.
Yeah, I can.
So that's the beauty of it.
One of the
If we
other
do it in a proper way, we can connect different attractions, different experiences, or different tourism products in a sense that it comes like a flow, and it comes like a real experience for 1 week or so.
There is also another hint which I can just give you now from my experience. We have an Italian, our F&B on Elite Hospitality is managed by an Italian company. It's a joint venture. So, and what he said a week ago, we were in a conference with chefs in Albania, in Tirana, the Plaza, and what he told me 2 months ago, he said, Elvis, the ingredients you have here are really much more tasteful than, like, he's from Puglia.
Yeah.
Much better than Italy, he said. But you have to make sure and protect it. You have to have the legislation to protect it. These flavors need to be protected because that's something you cannot find elsewhere. And that was the part of my discussion also in the panel last week. And these are things which we need, but that's why I'm saying that the food could be one of the advantages that we are having, because now we have our own kitchen, but we have this fusion Albanians living abroad, which are bringing best of experience. And because at the end of the day, if you have a good meal and you go in the diversity is different in Albania. That's also another thing, but it's all about people, again. And if you go from a region to a region, you drive 50 kilometers, you have a different landscape, but you have also a different menu.
Yeah. From mountain to...
I was a few minutes ago with a lady which is, let's say, has put her spirit on soul and spirit in this kitchen. And I found out 99 recipes from Albania. So 99.
Really?
Yes. That's
wow.
exceptional, huh?
Yeah.
From different regions. So these are things which we need to build up. And but it's all about, we don't need to, I have to work. Also we as a business, we have to put this soul and spirit. Because I see sometimes we get too much commercial. If we will keep this.
This is what I wanted to say,
if we
actually.
keep this, then that's something that there is no price. Everybody will pay, and they will say, I will pay, but you price it.
Even for us in real estate, sorry. Yeah. Yes.
I just want to give you another thing. What we have also, what I understood from the going around and having this experience is that in many cases, Albanians are very hospitable as people by nature. But unfortunately, they get aggressive when they don't have the right competence. Because they want to defeat themselves. So that's why I always say that it's not their failure, it's the failure of those who run their business, because they need to make sure they learn everything and they keep this hospitality shown. Because when someone has competence, he gives everything.
But it's also a matter of generations.
Yeah, generations, but we always blame the generation. Say, oh, this young generation doesn't work. No, but you have to work with them. You have to tell them.
No, I actually believe that the young generation is bringing a different mindset to the family businesses.
Exactly.
And,
absolutely. But that's the generation. But we need to work with them. We have to tell them what's there for them, for their future, and train. So that's why it's a big challenge, not challenge, but it's a way. Again, we need to build it. That's all.
One of the things that we have noticed is that also in real estate, this is what I wanted to say even before, is about the prices. Albania is considered cheap in tourism. Like you can go in Albania for 20 euros, because this is maybe what we have been marketing all this time. And when they come here, they come with and see the reality.
It's different.
And it's different. It's actually becoming more expensive every year. And this is also for real estate. When we talk to our clients abroad, international clients that are interested in investing here, they are interested in investing here because they realize we are just at the beginning of that curve that every other country in the region has already passed. But based on our conversations, their expectations are very low, considering even though Albania is still low in pricing when it comes to real estate investments, compared to Greece, Montenegro, and also Croatia. And these are the countries that we compare ourselves to generally. Still, it's unexpected. Wow, 3,000 euros per square meter in Albania? Like, I don't know if what we have told to the world so far is come here because you can live here for $5, and that is not true anymore, or properties are cheap here, and that is not true anymore. Albania is not in the radar that much yet, considering all these both, let's say, sectors.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Brandon has talked to a lot of people recently as an American. He also uh, has a different perspective to tell them about the country.
Yeah, I mean, Albania itself, when I look at the issues that we have about Albania now, the part of the reasons for these talks is because we're ahead of the consensus. We are before where Albania is going. We're not much before anymore. 5 years ago, we were very before,
Yeah.
but today we're just on the cusp of where it changes for Albania. And even though I believe that people are shocked at the price. They're shocked at the price because Albania did not have a market for the last 20 years. Albania was something everybody ignored.
Yeah.
While these other coastlines were built up to the top, Greece starting luxury at 15,500 a square meter. Right next door, the north of us is 7,500 a square meter. Here's Albania sitting at 3,000, and people are questioning us. They're questioning us because these other countries have authenticated themselves. People know what they're getting when they go there. And Albania is the last undiscovered state on this coast, and it's not authenticated yet for people to understand, even in advertising. And so by putting us together and speaking of the situations that we have at hand, we'll be the ones that can guide that authenticity of Albania. Make sure, like you said, that we control the things we don't want to lose, our food, our taste, our culture, our flavor. But on your hand, we can authenticate the brands coming in and make sure that there is a place for the big brand. There is
Absolutely.
a place. We can build super marinas. We can open up 2 more international airports, as we're going to do. We can accept you, but this is what we're talking about. How do we handle that swing in the fulcrum when we're before Albania of what Albania is going to become in the next 10 to 15 years? Because this place is going to be fabulous.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's a transformational process where I think it's good that we have started from somewhere. As I said, going from volume to value will actually educate the market, will eventually have space for brands educating and putting some kind of higher caliber when it comes to quality of service, but at the same time will somehow create a little bit more focus on hospitality as a career path for youngsters. Will create a bit of more capillarity when it comes to labor, social communities to be engaged more into tourism and hospitality business. And at the same time, I think it's the only sector which somehow will be, despite the fact we'll use digital or technology a lot when it comes to processes, but still your human touch, the face-to-face relationship will be pivotal. And there's no other sector that actually will suffer as less as hospitality when it comes to people getting engaged. Yeah, because you don't want to be served by a robot. At least not me, but I don't know people in Japan, but they might be different.
Exactly like ourselves. Listen, we brought Forbes Global Properties into the country prior to when it should be here, probably maybe a year or two early. And we're working through that. But why? Why do we want to do that? We want to be able to give the client an experience that they've not gotten before and help them move into the future. Same as you want to authenticate what's happening in Albania so we can say, well, that was 5 years ago, here's today, and you can see the structure for where we're going to be in 5 years. And so we're all trying to work towards this for sure. Even in ourselves with our investors, we tell them right now, listen, if you would have invested with us 5 years ago, yes, the price would have been 1/3 of where it is today. But at the same time, the infrastructure wasn't complete and it would have been high risk for you. And because we are not a transactional firm, we are an advisory firm. We're different than a normal real estate company. We advise the client for a long-term legacy relationship. We are not interested in transactional theory. And you guys are talking the same thing. You don't want to become just transactional. You want to have some meaning and authentication and relationship so people love to come to Albania. It's all about the relationship and the experience. Same thing we teach.
Retain everything. Retain
Yeah,
clients,
exactly.
retain employees, retain
Exactly.
suppliers and partners. So yeah,
And this, I think this is really also the, let's say, the message that we want to give.
Positive note that we
The
want to
positive note that we
end
want to
discussion.
give.
Yeah, exactly.
We all are here for quality, and we want to take everything we do in our own business a step forward every day with what we can do ourselves separately and also in group, like we are doing right now in our also in our daily collaborations. Thank you very much for being here and for giving your knowledge and your ideas.
Likewise.
you're welcome. Likewise.
And we hope to take things further for Albania and for ourselves as well.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
again.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you.